Now we can go. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Bettermode Town Hall for Q3. I'm really excited. You can see I'm packed with people today. That's the best part of this event. So I have Amanda from Bettermode. I have Dalin and Liana from CEROS. We got even the CEO of Bettermode with us today, Mo Malayeri, and also our beloved Carrie Melissa Jones to give us a masterclass in programming. So I'm really excited to kick off this today. I just wanted to have everyone at start so you can see that we have a nice program prepared for you today. Lots of value for you to learn and share. We're going to learn lots. And then I think that I need to do my housekeeping. So I will say goodbye to a few of you in the meantime. No worries. You are back soon. But Amanda, maybe you want to stay with me because you are part of the next part.
Sure.
To get people excited, let's ask them to share in the chat with an emoji. How are they feeling today for this event? There are lots of stuff happening, so I know that we are going to learn. I can see comments here. We got payment, Hal, hey, great to be here. Let me show this. Hal, Lewis, great to be here. Thank you for coming. We have our beloved Jacob also coming. We got David. Hi, David. Arabella, she's joining us also today. Oh, well, of course, Julia. Nice. Show us with an emoji. What is your mood today for this event? Let's do it. Let's do it. Love the platform already. Amazing. That's a good one. Hey, this one is for more. Hey, love the platform already. Micheline says, hi, Amanda. I think that probably is one of your favorites. Yes.
Hi, Michelin.
Nice. That's the idea. We got Stephen also. Hey, Stephen. Love that smile. That's the mood. Positive. We got also Payman sharing some love. Thank you, Payman. That's amazing. Okay, so the vibe is happening. The vibe is going. So the idea is to just review together. This event is to connect with others. So during this very brief moment, feel free to share any LinkedIn URL of your account. So you want to connect with other people in the community space. That's totally allowed. Don't be shy. If you're looking for more connections on the space, that's great. That's valid. I want to share what are the plans for today. Let me go. So the first part will be led by Amanda. Amanda is going to interview our friends at CEROS. They have a beautiful community. I hope Dalin and Liana are also planning to show us a bit, if possible, because the design aspect of their community is wow. I love it. I have been studying what they do to learn from mine, actually. So yeah, I love what they are doing. So the first part is related to the CEROS community. What are they doing, and which things we can learn from what they are doing for the community strategy. So it's very, very interesting. After that, we are going to have a few product news and updates regarding the Bettermode platform. Many changes have happened during this year, even recently. So we got today a special guest, Mo Malayeri, CEO at Bettermode, and he will be just with us briefly sharing key aspects of things that have been happening at product level. So that's also an exciting part. And finally, we got also, as you saw at the very beginning, also Carrie Melissa Jones joining us today. She's sharing a talk about how to strategically plan your content and programming. Don't get scared. It's not bored. It's really packed with actionable stuff that you can take away home. In that way, you can then, with your team, discuss, hey, this idea was cool. Let's do this. Let's do that. Okay. Yes. And before we start, I just want to keep reading a few of the comments because it's exciting. Is Jeremy? This is a long one. Let's see how much we can read. Okay. So Jeremy saying, hey everyone, I use Bettermode to host a real estate agent membership. we recently switched from a different platform a few months ago, and it's been a great transition. Oh wow, amazing. Amazing. And Carrie is promising he's not bored. It's a actionable stuff. That's the best. That's the best. And then I got let me see. Also, we got one more comment from Hal. As community manager and social media strategies on Bettermode and elsewhere, feel free to reach out. So she's wanting to connect. So let's go for that. We got also Ali. Ali also saying hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming, Ali. Now, let's do it. So let's bring Darlene and Liana on stage. I think I need to take this one off. And let's welcome Liana. And
Woo-hoo.
hey, welcome, guys. Welcome, Liana. Yes, amazing. Thank you for coming today. We are really excited to learn from you. We have seen your work. Amanda on top, very close. So we know that there are many things we can learn. Just a heads up for Liana. I think that your mic is muted. So there you go. Yes. No. So this part is on Amanda's charge. So I will say goodbye for a few minutes. But Amanda, all yours.
Thank you, Francisco. Well, thank you, Leanna, Dallin, and everyone who's tuning in to our webinar today. So excited to show everyone the great work that the CEROS team has put together. I have the pleasure of working with Leanna and Dallin to basically guide them on Bettermode if they ever need any help as their community success manager. So let's dive in because CEROS team, they have great energy. Again, their community is very, very pretty. It's one of my favorite communities to showcase to other clients and people who need a little bit of inspiration when they're first starting off with Bettermode. So without further ado, Dallin, Liana, can you give us a little bit of information on what the CEROS community is and what are your key characteristics?
Certainly. Thank you very much, Amanda. We designed it ourselves. Is it okay if I share my screen? Is that cool?
Absolutely. Please do. I think everyone's looking forward to it.
Okay, let's see. This one should do. All right, can everyone see this? We good here?
Yep.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Well, like Amanda said, we work at CEROS. My name is Dallin. A little bit about me. I've got 11 years of design experience in multiple industries. I did my education in instructional technology and learning science. And I have 3 little baby cats. Here they are, you can see. 2 of them are naked. One of them was supposed to be naked, but he came out kind of fuzzy. Before we go any further, I'll let Liana introduce herself real quick.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Liana. I have a background in events and campaigns, and I studied interactive multimedia, so that kind of led me to CEROS in the beginning. And I'm also a pet parent. I have a very cute dog. Her name is Bean, and she just turned 4 last week.
Aww.
We love a good bean. All right, so kind of like Amanda said, I feel like to really understand our community, we need to go a little bit more in on like what CEROS is in general. So I'm going to open up our homepage actually, and in a nutshell, high level, CEROS is a online cloud-based design platform that allows our users to create all sorts of really cool interactive content without needing to code a single line of code. I, for one, have designed a lot, and I, for one, don't know anything about coding. And so I naturally gravitated towards CEROS as a client first because it allowed me to create a lot of really cool micro apps, single web pages, micro sites, embeddable content, a lot of really cool interactive stuff, rich with media, really premium stuff without having to code anything. So that's kind of what CEROS is. And a lot of our users, we've got over 500,000 users worldwide, and a lot of them are designers, marketers, design specialists, and anything like that. So we have a lot of very creative users, and by nature, our platform is very hands-on. It's a very hands-on platform, hands-on learning, hands-on all of that. So when we were approaching our community, we really needed to approach it from kind of a few standpoints. And CEROS Educate is the name of our community. And the 3 main core tenets of our community are learning, collaboration, and achievement. Everything that we have inside our community, we want to circle around one of those 3 things. And the pillars within our community is our help center, our video library, our discussions, our courses and certifications, which I'll get into in just a second, and then our webinars and events. Everything within that we consider a community aspect, and they all kind of mesh together and work together to create a really cool learning and community environment for our very hands-on creative members. And so I'll go ahead and open our community and give like a real basic run through of everything, and then I'll turn time over to Liana to go through some other really cool community aspects. So from our homepage, we kind of just set up really important things that we want people to find right off the bat. It's like all of our upcoming events are here, right? Some really hot things or things that we want to promote, like our new public-facing product roadmap, or some really cool CEROS templates and tutorials of how to go through that, and then some creative challenges, which Liana will get into in a little bit. Like I said, we have a very creative user base, and so we do a monthly community mural where a community member designs our homepage banner every quarter, and we kind of rotate through those. So this was created by one of our awesome community members, Anna Karina. She's in Paris, France. She drew this and illustrated this all on her own. And so we kind of pick a community member each quarter, and they create something really cool. And it's just a fun way to express our community and express the rich talent that we have. Kind of like what I was talking about with the core pillars within our community. We have our help center here for each of our different design tools. Pretty standard article type of things. A lot of highly visual articles that help them walk through how to do certain things within the design tools themselves. We have a very, very robust video library full of tons of tutorial videos, clips from our webinars, everything that you can kind of imagine. We've got it all in there. And then the real big thing that drives a lot of our community engagement and gets a lot of new members are our courses. Like I said, this is a learning and community platform. And just the nature of our user base, like learning is just central to everything that we do at CEROS. You have to learn some really cool design stuff in order to create interactive, engaging content. Also, my cats are fighting, so I apologize if you can hear them screaming at each other. I'm not going to stop them, though.
You're good, Alan. We don't hear it.
Okay, good. So a quick overview of our courses. We have some self-serve courses, but we also have what we call guided design courses. So these are virtual instructor-led, but also asynchronous courses that our users can enroll in and learn how to use our products, learn design fundamentals and principles, and just really up-level all aspects of their role. We also have certifications, and here's the badges that you can earn throughout our courses. We send them really cool actual PDF certificates and badges and stuff like that, and obviously that'll correlate like badges next to their names within the community. But how the courses sort of look is like this. So we have our My Courses section here, and I don't even know if this was meant to be a feature within Bettermode, but it just somehow worked for us, so please don't ever change it. But we have private spaces listed here in our sidebar, and so if you're not enrolled in any courses, it doesn't show up. But if you do get enrolled in a course or we add them to a private space, this whole section magically just shows up. We kind of stumbled upon that, and so we've really been using that a lot. It kind of gives that sort of pseudo LMS feel, and it helps our users feel like it's a pretty customized platform, having the courses they're enrolled in right here. So we have specific spaces for each course, and they kind of run through the content. And we've got like learning modules here with really cool activities. You know, they submit their work here, and so you can kind of like see some of their cool stuff that they do. And doing this, the courses and submitting these assignments and these design challenges, what we call them, they allot or earn design points. And as they continue to earn design points, those attribute to their design certification. So if they get enough points by the end of the course, they earn a design certification. So you can see Remy here, who has earned 3 certifications within our course. He's got the cool badges next to his name. But the courses have been, like I said, our biggest hitting thing. And it's been really fun to see a lot of these creatives from all over the world who don't know each other collaborate with each other and ooh and ah at each other's work, right? Like, oh my gosh, OM gosh, that's super funny. and just get to know each other and really build that creative community together, just very naturally. Like, we don't have to do a lot of this. We present the content and we kind of show them the ropes, but really they take it and run themselves. So it's pretty fun. Like in this course, you can see we built a design journal with a bunch of different things. And so like inspiration here, and a little bit of a brain dump, and it culminated in their final projects, which was just like a passion project that they wanted to work on. Tons of really cool variety and a lot of fun stuff that we get to work on with designers from everywhere. And so, like I said, that is a core part of our community and what drives a lot of our engagement. And so then once someone finishes a course or finishes all of our courses, they're kind of like, well, that was really fun. Now what? And so that's what Liana will talk about next, is our webinars, events, our discussions, and creative challenges. Something that we refer to those as our continued learning aspects of community, to keep them engaged and keep them going after their coursework. So Liana, I will turn time over to you, and I will try to navigate this screen share and correlate with what you're talking about. So go for it.
Perfect. Yeah, so when we were even looking at Bettermode to consider where to put our community platform, a lot of our clients used our help center and our resource center for everyday tasks when they were building in the studio and our products. So we figured putting the community in the help center will just allow people to, get the answers that they need with our resources, and then also just jump right into the community and see our webinars and events, which we this year hosted 32 webinars and different events. And we've had over 2,000 registrants. So just by having the traffic being derived to, again, our community through our help center and through those different resources has really helped us have engagement and have users register. And a lot of the webinars that we plan are from feedback from our users. So we really take into consideration everything that we hear in the courses, in the creative challenges, in day-to-day trainings that we do with clients, and build our content calendar for these events and trainings and webinars based off of that. We also have all of our webinar recordings afterwards. So not only do we keep these in the on-demand recordings, but we also have people on our team creating shortcut videos. So that'll just help us build up our video library as well. So we post recordings in multiple different places. And it's also really helpful being able to just search Bettermode as a whole at the top of Educate. So when someone's looking to learn more about interactions or the studio, you can really see all different types of content, whether it's like articles, video lessons, and then again, also webinars and events, posts, comments. So that really helps people, again, just really engage in our community. And then if we go to the discussion.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to ask,
No.
I'm sure you folks have been live for a little while now, and I'm sure with some folks here, they may be starting off. So what are some of the initial steps that you took to grow the community? Did you start off with your help center, your challenges and events as you launched the community, or was that something that you added into your strategy afterwards?
That's a good question, Amanda. So everything in our community is something we were already doing before, but in a way clinkier way. Like we had a help center in a different platform, and it wasn't our favorite, right? We were doing some of these community things in a different platform, and it wasn't the best platform. It's just kind of what we had to work with. We had the courses, but we didn't even have anywhere to like hold the courses. So we were just like sending people course stuff, Google form links and stuff like that. And so as we've been building our team and what our team does, our offerings and our initiatives kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And we were just juggling tons of platforms, tons of things all over the place. And it just got completely out of control. So that's what initially brought us to Bettermode, is we were looking for a very flexible platform that allowed us to do everything that we do. And so Bettermode allows for all of that. And so we brought everything that we were doing onto the platform, which kind of just really streamlined a lot of the processes and helped us do it in a much better way and deliver much better learning experience and user experience for all of our community members.
I'm so glad you said that, because one of the things that I always like to tell clients is like the most effective thing that you can do in your community or on your site, not really trying to limit this to just community, but the best thing that you can do on your site for your users is to use it as a hub and bring everything together in one place. And I'm so glad that this is what you guys are doing. It's fantastic. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So I know you folks were just kind of talking about some things that you do to keep your members engaged and providing them with some really great content. Do you have anything else that you'd like to kind of talk about in terms of like community engagement, aside from the challenges and the really great events that you bring? What else do you like to do to keep your members engaged on like a day-to-day basis?
That's a good question. Liana, do you want to do like a brief overview of the badges that people can earn through our creative challenges?
Sure. And then I was also going to point out a discussion board too. But for our creative challenges, like Dallin mentioned, once our users go through courses and attend webinars, they're really eager to just continue to, create content that's not just for work. So every month we have these low-lived, fun creative challenges. You get a badge after that Dallin creates. As you can see, everyone that partakes in these creative challenges absolutely loves them. They do them every single month. They have badges that are stacked on top of one another. This month, the creative challenge is just to create an experience about a location, add some details of it, some images, an embedded YouTube video, just get people excited about why you would want to go to that location. But people absolutely love these. We've had them since the beginning of the year, and really fun badges. Some of them we even have competitions, so we get to judge each other's experiences, rank them, give someone, a first place badge. But just having them be able to interact and then get rewarded after for completing something that is completely optional that they do on their own time outside of work has been super fun and really gets our clients engaged.
I love that. Thanks, Liana. Sorry, I interrupted you while you wanted to kind of go through the discussion board.
Yeah, I just was going to point out a couple of the different boards here that we've also noticed have gotten our clients interacted. So previously, kind of the flow, if a client had maybe a question, would be either to go to our support team or to go to their customer success manager. Then their customer success manager would ask us the questions, we would answer, and then, it would have to go back all the way to the customer. But by having these discussion boards like product questions and design help, our customers can come right here and ask questions that they have about the tool, something they're creating, or in our design help, just get some inspiration. And this way, that kind of eliminates that middle conversation and lengthening the time that it takes to get them answers. And we actually recently set up SSO on Bettermode. So now our users that have accounts in our product can just simply log in with that same login credential. You can just click, log in with your CEROS account. It creates their account. And then again, quickly, they can get access directly to the Educate team. We get messages through our DMs all the time on Bettermode. So folks love to use that too. But again, just having access to our team and then to other CEROS users. Dallin's also showing this community commons discussion board. One of our top users, her name is Jean, and she wanted a private space where we can just talk about non-work related things. So as you can see, she has tons and tons of badges, but she really loves getting to know all of the other community members. So she wanted to see, pet pictures. We made a Spotify playlist for the Educate team because our users love the music that we play. And then they can also submit ideas for the community that they want to see. And then we take that and run with it.
I love
this
that.
was pretty.
So
this was pretty
wholesome.
fun because we let Jean really wanted, she's one of our all-star members, right? She, look at that fat stack of badges right there. But so she wanted a space for this, and so we kind of built it for her, and we just kind of let her run with it. So she, for the most part, kind of runs it herself.
That's fantastic. That's awesome. While you folks were, I guess, trying to establish your community on Bettermode, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced in building and or maintaining your community? And what were the types of things that you did to overcome them?
I think one of the biggest challenges was, it just kind of comes with the nature of our industry, software as a service, right? Things just change so fast. So we might spend a good amount of time getting maybe a space set up for a certain product, and then all of a sudden that product doesn't exist anymore, right? Or, create a bunch of really cool content or a webinar or something for a feature, and then a few weeks later that feature is completely different, So that's kind of the hardest part about just our industry in general, is just how fast things change. And so we've really had to find a good balance between having really premium content on our community while also making sure that it's easy to produce and easy to maintain, right? Like we could spend hours and hours and hours on a video, and then all of a sudden one tiny little part of our product's UI might change, and that whole video is out of date and obsolete. So finding that balance from our content creation perspective has been really, really big. And so that's why we lean a lot on like community stuff, like posts, right? Like we can write a post in a matter of minutes and save a ton of time and get tons of engagement. And if our product changes, our post isn't necessarily out of date. And if it is, it's a quick change, you know? So we've been leaning a lot on community for those types of things, just so we can kind of anticipate rapid changes within our products and within our industry.
That's fantastic. Thank you. In terms of success stories, what's your favorite success story that you like to share that comes from your community and really highlights how you folks have grown and how it's impacted CEROS as a business?
Oh man, that's a, I don't even know which one to answer with. So I think as a whole, the community is a great success story. Like considering that we've had thousands and thousands of people register for our webinars, the fact that we've had over 1,000 people earn a certification within our courses, we just reached over 1 million page views on our community within like 9 months, right? Like a lot of just success. Like it's just been like our users have really gravitated towards it, and it's really stuck with them, which has been awesome. And as a result, our community is no longer, or never really was, but it's definitely not now, just kind of like this side thing that the CEROS Educate team is doing. It's being very much integrated within the rest of the company. For example, like our public facing roadmap, which is a collaboration with our product team, is right here. So users can interact with the product team, submit ideas for the product and whatnot like that. Maybe we have some really, really high key accounts that are really, really important, some customers, right? They're big accounts, they've got hundreds of users and stuff like that. We've been able to make private spaces specifically for those accounts, work with our product team, work with our customer success team to deliver a very premium white glove experience, kind of carving out a little space of our community just for them. And what's most exciting for us is now we're in the talks of having our actual community embedded within the product itself, right? Instead of it just being its own website, it is becoming a part of our product because we've been so successful. So that's a big feather in our cap, and we're really excited about that.
Oh, that's so great. I'm sure there's a lot of folks here, because I've had a lot of these conversations with some other clients before, but I'm interested to know if you can share if there are any types of metrics that you like to track to measure success in your community, and then how to use this data to kind of inform or improve your strategies going forward.
That's a really good question. So I would say the one that sticks out to me the most is how significant the badges actually are within our community. Like they look cool and they're really fun to have, and it's like gamifies things, right? And people can earn them doing really fun stuff. But the badges are actually really telling of a user's engagement within our product, right? Like if they earn one of like our course badges or something like that, that means like if they earn this one right here, that means they've spent 25 weeks in courses with us. That means they're really invested in the product itself, right? So like different badges have different engagement metrics behind them. And using the HubSpot integration, we can then sync all of the badge data with our contacts within HubSpot. And that helps us kind of, or that informs us on which users are using the platform a lot and which users aren't. And so we kind of target those users, see why they're not, create content accordingly, promote things accordingly and whatnot. So the badges, though they look really cool, serve a really, really important purpose overall for our customer success team.
That's awesome. Thanks, Dallin. And then the last one that I want to ask you, because we're getting close to time, are, I guess, what are your future plans for CEROS Educate? And then like, how do you see it evolving in the next year or so?
That's a really good question. Well, we have 5 of these guided design courses that I talked about, and a lot of our users are getting through all 5 of them, and so we're pulling them and getting community ideas for future courses because everyone wants more courses. We didn't really plan for that. We kind of just set up the 5 courses. We're like, well, now what, right? And so in the future, you can expect a whole lot more of these courses, as well as just kind of iterating and polishing everything that we've done. We built this so fast, it was kind of like building the brick walkway as we were walking on it. And so at the end of the year, we're going to be able to look back at everything that we've built, polish things up, tighten things up, and just really improve certain aspects of our community, like the help center and whatnot, just to, you know, iterate on it and make it a better experience for our users.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to say everyone is praising your badges. The whole chat is
Everybody
on
loves
fire.
it.
Yes, yes, so cool, so cool. And also everyone asking, hey, how can we automate all that? And Jacob was already advising and sharing tips. So yeah, even maybe we want an article in our community only about that, a webinar only on badges and gamification. You're going to be the stars again.
we can do that. Like I said, the badges not only look cool and they're really fun, but they are a absolutely vital part of the success and the analytics and metrics behind everything that we do within our community. So it's pretty fun, and building these badges every month has been quite the treat.
We love it. Honestly, if we get even more time, we will keep chatting because your community is so good. I really like it. So sorry for the times also counts for everyone. We have a few waiting. So I just wanted to thanks Amanda, also Dalin and Liana for this part. Was really impressive. Honestly, what you're doing is beautiful. Also, is at the scale that you're delivering all this. Wow, it's insane. So yeah, kudos for you. Kudos, guys. Kudos.
Thank you.
Great job, Sarah.
Amazing work.
Amazing
work.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon. So, for instance, what we can do right now is bring their Mo. Mo, you are muted. Just so you know. We want to now have a quick chat with Mo. Amanda, thank you for your time today. It was really nice to have you leading this part. Mo, all good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, all great. So excited to be here to tell everyone about what we've been doing at Bettermode and what's in our roadmap. Thank you again for the team from CEROS. It was really inspiring. Like, I love CEROS.
It was so good.
I want to show what is possible. So they really brought the world of possibilities and use their imagination to build a very promising use case. I'm just going to share my screen so I can quickly share with everyone, and bear with me because I'm using someone else's laptop.
No problem. No problem.
All the technical stuff that might come in. All right.
No problem. Remember that right after Mo, we have Carrie Melissa Jones with her talk about content programming. So stay in the loop. Stay tuned. How's it going? Okay. Do you want to use presenter mode or something?
Yeah.
There you go. Got it.
Let me also just quickly. Okay. Just gonna. All right. So just like one thing that we are super excited about, as you know, Bettermode is all about building very online engaging experiences. And what really stands us apart from a lot of other tools out there is the level of customization that you can do with Bettermode. So we've been focused a lot over the past, I would say, couple of quarters to really enhance our design experience and how you can build these all sort of different use cases with Bettermode. Previously, our team was doing a lot of hand-holding with customers to help them build that digital experience. But as you know, since beginning of this year, we've invested a lot on our templates experience. So we recently shipped our Bettermode templates that I would love to just like do a quick walkthrough where we can see different examples. I'm using a private browser, so I might have some technical issues showing here. But you can see that right now on our website, we have the ability to choose from any of these templates as their starting point. And what it does is basically making that creation experience as quick as possible based on the use case that our customers have. So let's say if you want to create a support community, you can just come filter that and be able to see all the support community examples that you can just browse. You can even just like click on the preview and just like see the example. And once you're ready, you can just go and get that as the starting point, which is going to make it super easy to customize. The other piece is that you will also notice that now we are working with a broader list of partners to help us build these experiences. Again, I think some of the images are not loading since I'm using the private one, but for example, Bricks Agency is one of our partners. They're helping us build a lot of amazing templates, and we're now working with more partners to help us create these digital experiences. So please check them regularly if you're looking for inspirations, because you can always get those as a starting point. You can go onto the design studio and see how our team have or our designers have built that experience. And within that, like we are now building for all sort of categories, whether it's a user forum, it's a professional community, it's just a feedback community. Maybe you're looking to build a whole customer portal. Maybe it's a hobby club. So we have examples for all these, and we're going to keep adding to those. There is also the ability to filter them by features. So maybe you want something that has some wiki and groups and events. Just like go ahead and apply these filters and use that to really see the templates and get either if you have a community that is up and running, maybe you can use those as inspiration from a design standpoint and how the content and CMS has been built. Otherwise, if you're starting something new, you can always use those templates as a starting point. Let's shift gear and see what we've shipped recently in our product. So I'm just gonna name them here, and then we go back on a demo and take a look. But something that we've been getting from our customers a lot was the design studio working with the container block was kind of technical, and it was hard for them to kind of imagine how these containers can work together to build the layouts that they want. So we're recently shipped section block as a new block that is super intuitive. I'll show you in a minute a bit of that on how you can just like create a 3-column or 4-column or any sort of design that you have in mind. I personally have found it to be very inspiring and very easy to use compared to container block that we have deprecated. The other one is the sitemap. So we see examples like CEROS where they're using the community as a way to leverage that user-generated content. And we see more and more communities are actually being adopted by marketing team to really use that as a channel to acquire new users. So having the best SEO practices in place was super critical for us. And we shipped the sitemap, which is an automatically generated sitemap based on the sort of structure that you build with collections and with spaces. It gets automatically generated. That's the beauty of this. So next time a search engine crawler is on your site, it will automatically gets the most updated sitemap without our admins to take any action. The notification is an important part of the platform. So we recently shipped some really enhanced notification features, such as the ability to subscribe to a member page where you can get notified whenever that particular member is posting something, or the granular level at the space level, where you can, as an admin, you can even set a specific space to notify members of that space whenever there is a new post. And we already had the permissions settings where you can say on this particular space, I'm sure it's the same with CEROS courses, for instance, where the permission is set in as such that only their admins can post. And if they turn on their notification, whenever there is a new content, everybody who's a member of that course will get the notification. So let's shift gears so we can quickly take a look at some of these examples. So starting with here. All right. So now if you go to Design Studio, I'm going to start with section. You will be able to see how easy it is now to build additional blocks into your community. So we previously, number one, didn't have the design elements and the ability to add blocks from the right sidebar. So now if I want to just go and add a block here, previously I had to see everything on the left side and kind of imagine where I'm looking to add something. But now everything is visual. I can just go ahead and add a block anywhere that I want. And secondly, previously you had to work with containers, which were kind of difficult to do, but now we have the section block that is a new block that we have introduced. So I'm trying to add a section at the bottom of this page, and as you can see, I have all these layouts that I can use. Maybe I want something that is 2-column and both are completely divided equally. Maybe I want a left sidebar smaller and then the right sidebar. So we have all these examples that you can choose. And then they all have their own settings, including responsiveness, whether you want to hide a specific section on mobile or not. So this has brought a lot of power to those that are building. Anybody who has used our container before, I'm sure they're going to appreciate how easier it has been through the section block in order to build stuff. So you can see that I added a 2-to-1 column, and now I can easily just go ahead, either use the visual designer to just add the block, or on the left side, I can clearly understand what is going on. Where previously you had to do a lot of settings, build and play around, poke around with a lot of settings to get to the layout that you desired. So that's on.
I did. I did. Once we got this update, I did lots of optimizations for mobile layout on the event pages that we have led by community. So now, for instance, in the desktop version, we have a small button to kind of save your spot below the image, but on mobile, we did a full width button. So easy to kind of just tap. So it's like many options for flexibility and responsive. Now, this update is huge. Yeah, it's very useful.
No, we got a lot of great praises from our customers as well. So that was really touching the right pain point, in my opinion. The other piece, just shifting gears, is the SEO settings. So you will notice there that if you're on a paid plan, you would have the sitemap automatically generated, and it would be just an XML file. If you click on it, it will open that file, and you will see that sitemap being generated. And while we are on this page, maybe I can just quickly go here. If I go to a member profile, talking about notification enhancements that we ship, I can just go ahead and turn on the notification on certain user profiles. So that is actually creating the connection between users even more robust, where I can just turn on the notification on a member profile. So that was one of the enhancements that got shipped. The other one is that, as you know, like in HSpace, we have the ability to, if I go to the settings, now we have the ability to manage the notifications. So you can just auto-subscribe new and existing members of Data Space. Whenever there's a new post, they get a notification. So previously we had like a more complicated setting here that was sometimes confusing for our users. So we made it super simple that you can just auto-subscribe. And usually our customers combine that with the power of CMS permissioning, that, like, for example, in here, only our team can publish events. So having the notification turned on will make sure that they only get notified for the posts by our staff team, not every user that is posting in the community. Please, absolutely. Please subscribe to our community if you haven't. And like, we have this highlight space that you can just go, and our team keeps posting the updates into that channel. Our community is also a great source of updates from what we're building too. Go ahead, Francisco.
No, I think that all this is great. Of course, I just put the link not to the Bettermode hub. It's bettermode.com/hub. The community is open to anyone who wishes to sign up, and many things are there. Any questions regarding the platform, ideas, integrations? No, everyone is there to help. So you're all welcome.
Absolutely. And just to also tell everyone what is coming down in our roadmap in a short span of time, our team is currently building a very robust email digest tool. That's something that a lot of our customers have been asking for. So that is coming soon. We'll have more updates on that in the community. The adoption of AI, this is going to be, your communities are going to be the place where the user-generated content as well as your company content going to live in it. So we are planning to heavily adopt AI as it is becoming a mainstream technology. So we are starting from search, whether it's just like having the best results displayed to users based on the intent of the search, all the way to also turning on conversational sort of experience, where if you're searching for something, it kind of just summarizes the post and presents the human readable content that you can easily get the answer. And search has been a huge use case and huge utility that people were getting from the community. So we're so excited that will be shipped soon. we are looking to provide more tools for admins to bring back members to the community. And we are working on a project that's called Broadcast, which is providing tools to admins where they can target certain members and then trigger, whether it's a private message or a certain notification that lands in their notification stream, as well as their emails and other channels that they use. So bringing that granular control where you can just define a certain sort of segment of users and then reach out to them is something that we hope is going to help a lot with the retention of users and bringing them back to the community. So those are three highlights that you will hear more from our team, our product team soon in the community. But also putting this into perspective, something that I like to do is that like how we frame and how we look at things at Bettermode. And sorry, I don't know why the logo is misplaced here, but basically it's three. The way we look at like what our offering is three sort of key offerings. It's the creation, which is everything around like your users generating content, the admins putting out the content, whether it's a knowledge-based article all the way to publishing an event. And a lot of our focus so far has been on the creation side. While we had the sort of table stake feature needed for engagement and connectivity, I'll give you examples of how this Venn diagram could look like. So for example, on the creation side, things like our design studio that help you create really nice looking pages for a community, the post editor, the content management system where you can now create like job boards that is different than events form, the language support, SEO. So a lot of the stuff that we've built on the creation side. And again, as you can see, it's sort of a Venn diagram that has overlap with things that are related to creation and engagement. So these are stuff that we have built so far, but we actually use this framework to kind of see where we want to head in our product. So you'll see that there's a lot of these black stuff that are listed here that we are looking to add to our platform. So on the notification side and on the connectivity side, things like digest that is coming or the broadcast are examples. Things like live stream, poll, form submissions, native event function, the ability to apply, pay, bookmark. These are all engagement sort of actions that we are looking to add to the platform. Again, this is not a short-term roadmap. This is mostly a framework to kind of share with our customers on how we look at this platform and where we have to improve our offering in terms of creation, connectivity, and engagement as three key pillars. So again, our focus has been very much on creation, and now we're kind of moving to harmony of investing more into the connectivity and engagement capability that we hopefully will add to Bettermode.
Yeah, this vision is exciting because we builders, we get the perks. That's the best part. So thank you for giving us this quick kind of recap of what has been done, what is coming, and how, which tools are available right now for us as community builders. So let's invite Carrie to join us more. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Hey,
Hi.
Carrie. Yes,
Hi.
nice.
That was
Thank
so
you for waking
cool.
up early for us. It's I know it's early for you anyway.
I'm up anyway. I've got a baby. She's up.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, well, many of our audience, we have lots of people online connected, are waiting for this part, the learning part of the event. So, Mo, we want to say thank you to you. Keep enjoying France. And sure to take the second best wine in the world. The first is Chilean. So there's always this battle, Chilean, France. I know. So, but keep enjoying with your family. Have some time.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Mo, for joining us today.
Bye.
Carrie.
I'm gonna say the best wine, maybe third best, maybe first best. I don't know, but Northern California is pretty good.
Oh,
I live near
I heard
Napa,
that.
so
I heard that today. I think that I don't have your kind of slides yet. If you want to maybe get ready with that.
I got it.
And thank you, Carrie, for joining us today. It's exciting to have you. We know we are going to learn a lot from you today. So yeah.
Yay.
I know.
Awesome.
I got it. There you go.
Is that showing up?
I'm seeing it small, maybe
a large bar. Of course, it was working
see.
earlier. There it goes. Is that
there
working?
You go. Yes, we got
Okay.
it. We got it. Nice.
Wonderful.
So, how to strategically plan content and programs by Carrie. All yours.
Yay! All right. So I'm so excited to be here. It was so great to see. I love to see behind the scenes looks at communities in action. I feel like we learned so much just from seeing what other community builders are doing and what's working for them. That's not to say that we can just copy paste what they're doing, but it's so inspiring. And I think the more we can share the behind the scenes looks at all this, the better. And yes, so excited to see all these updates to the Bettermode platform as well. So yeah, today we're going to talk about something that is very important to many of us, but feels really random to a lot of us, which is planning our content and programs. And I'm using the word strategically here very intentionally because this often feels random and arbitrary when we are planning content and programs. It feels like, oh, let's put out some content or let's do these programs or activities because we need to fill up a content calendar or because we need to show that we're doing something. And it feels like we're just doing it to do it and hoping that something that we create brings some light and brightness into our community. And sometimes that does work. Sometimes we are inspired by an idea and we run with it and it works for a while. And then all of a sudden, after a few months, it just stops working and we see the engagement numbers going down. And if we're not strategic, we'll be left wondering why that is. So the only way to improve long-term is to get really strategic about this. So that's what I'm excited to share with you today is a framework to organize all of your content and programs. I'm going to be sharing the 7 categories or the 7 types of community content and programs. So that's going to give you structure for your brainstorming. And then I'm going to give you an exercise and a tool for helping you brainstorm ideas in each of those categories or each of those types for your own community. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know me, I don't wear a pink suit every day, but when I have the opportunity, I like to take advantage of it. But I'm a researcher, a social scientist. I'm a huge nerd. Co-author of the book, Building Brand Communities with Charles Vogel. An entrepreneur. I run a company called the CMJ Group where we consult and advise all kinds of businesses and all kinds of nonprofits and foundations in community building. And I'm also the leader of the CMJ community for community builders. So as I am a huge nerd, what I recommend is that you get out a paper and pen because I'm going to be dropping a lot of information, especially around these categories of content and the structure for content. And you're going to want to take notes throughout this. So embrace your inner nerd with me. I invite you into this journey. All right, so let's begin. Let's begin with the definitions. So what does content and programming even mean? For those of you who have been doing this work for a while, you're probably like, yeah, duh, content and programs. Those are just the things in the community. But if this is brand new to you, if this terminology is brand new to you, just know that this is a bit of professional jargon that community builders often use to refer to all kinds of ways that we can interact with and engage with our communities. So content and programs can be one of many things. They can be posts or threads in our community. They can be events or event series or challenges like we saw from the CEROS community. They can be informal gatherings that our community members run on our behalf or that we're running. They can be one-off activities or they can be full experiences that we're crafting. And so really it's when we're talking about content, that's a huge umbrella of stuff. And so when we need to break it down for what that means for community. And specifically for community, our content and programs need to be created to support 2 things: connection to other people and progress towards shared purpose. So just putting content out for content's sake is not what we're here to do. We need to get really clear on who it is that we're connecting and then what kind of progress is meaningful to them. So when we start our brainstorming and start our content strategy from that place of the who and the why, then we're able to naturally come up with ideas and we can breathe through this process instead of bracing through it or just feeling frantic about it. And again, we are not doing this just for the sake of doing it, because content and programs, this is all around us all the time. We have 15 different social media apps at this point. We have communities that, from all areas of our lives, and we don't need more. We don't need more content. We don't need more programs. You are actually better off defaulting to less content and programming in your community. So what we teach in the CMJ community is something called quiet community or slow community. And it honors the fact that it takes some time to build relationships. It's not something that gets built overnight, especially if your community is primarily digital. It takes about 6 times as long to build relationships digitally as it does physically in person. But it's important that we don't just leave our community out to dry and don't do anything. We've got to keep it consistent. So even if you do the bare minimum, keeping it consistent is essential, because people can then start to understand, what can I expect from this community, and what kind of content, what kind of programs happen on a weekly, monthly, daily basis, so that I can remember and think about them when I want to check in. So I want to, before I go any further, just hear from those of you who are here right now, how you feel right now when you are brainstorming your own content and programs for your community. So is it something that feels easy for you? Is it something that feels really forced? Is it something that feels scary and daunting, unstructured? I'm curious to hear from you, kind of what emotions this work brings up for you. So I'm going to go back over here to the, I see that my notes are here. I'll go back to the slide in just a second. Yes. Well, wonderful, Arabella. So yeah, regardless of how it feels, so a little overwhelming, that's very, very, very normal for it to feel overwhelming. It is overwhelming because there are infinite possibilities for what you can build with your community. And so we've got to get really clear on, how do we structure those infinite possibilities? So let me go back here. All right, let me know, Francisco, if this is showing the right slide or not. We'll make sure that that's displaying properly. So with that in mind, even if it feels overwhelming, today we're going to take that overwhelm and we're going to start to organize it together. So let's get into the 7 types of content and programs. And as I go through this, I want you to think about which of these content and programs resonate with you and which might be missing for your community. So at a high level overview, we're talking about these 7 types. They are education, co-creation or collaboration, stories, dialogue, recognition, friendship cultivation, and welcoming. So these are the 7 types. And as I go through, I'm going to go through each one and talk about the definition of it, as well as give you examples for what each of these types are. And I really recommend you think about, is there an area that I'm completely missing in my content strategy today? Because that's what we often discover when we're learning about these 7 different types. Yes.
Kari, sorry,
yes.
your slides are not looking good. There you go.
Oh, it was working. Okay, one second.
Yeah.
Ay. All right.
No problem.
Let
That doesn't look good. Now it works.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All good. Keep going.
Yes. All right. So let's begin by going through each of these 7 types. And again, take some notes on what might be missing for your community. So first we have education. So education, content, and programs help participants do something better or grow into who they'd like to be. So for example, a workshop like this, you are learning right now. This is part of an educational program. Courses like the ones that you saw in the CEROS community. You can bring in a guest speaker into your community or an expert, or you can release things like tutorials and resources, or you can have user-generated tutorials and resources in your community. So here's an example from, this is actually from Amazon Web Services, AWS. AWS is the world's largest cloud platform. When I say largest, I mean most broadly adopted. And they have a community called the AWS Heroes. And those are folks who are kind of influencers in their ecosystem. And those influencers do something called AWS Community Days, where they will actually bring people together locally. They'll bring in speakers, they'll bring in their peers, they'll secure a venue. And these events are all about educating people, peer-to-peer learning, as well as expert to member learning about how to use AWS more effectively. And so at the same time that this education is happening, these AWS heroes are building up their credibility in their roles and becoming even better connected within their profession. So it's really a win-win for both the community members as well as the organization. So that's what we're looking for when we're thinking about community education, because there are many ways to deliver education, but when we're building it for a community, it's about that interaction. So for you, this might differ in terms of the kind of progress that members want to make. And so it's important to ask yourself, what educational gaps exist today in my community? What kind of progress do folks want to make? And then what are the educational gaps that exist that would stop them from making that progress? So we often ask our clients, what do people want to achieve when they join your community, and what's standing in their way? And if you can identify those things, then you can start to educate them and provide opportunities for them to meet people who will further that progress. And that is the magic of community. Next, we have co-creation or collaboration content and programs. And so these are anything that give people space and structure to create something new together. So in communities of practice, if you've ever been part of one professionally, or if you have one, I'm seeing more and more organizations launching these internally at their companies. This is where a lot of that content and programming is going to focus on creating something brand new together and coming together. So for example, you might run something like a hackathon, or I keep going back to the CEROS examples because there were just so many great examples of content and programs within that brief overview, but their challenges are a great example of this, where people can come together and create something new that they didn't have before. It can be a task force. It can be a working group, a virtual co-working call where people come together and get work done. So social science research indicates that getting stuff done together, especially sharing a challenge and working through a challenge together, that bonds us together more quickly than just connecting for connection's sake. So if you want to create relationships and interaction in your community very quickly, then focus on co-creation and collaboration, not just running a happy hour, but actually having a goal that people can work toward together. Next, we have community stories. So storytelling is essential for all communities. I don't care what kind of community you run. There are stories about how you formed, how the community is changing, how individuals within your community are changing, and how you're affecting the world beyond your community. So just spending time telling these stories is inherently valuable in communities. So when you see programs like spotlights on alumni from programs and Q&A sessions on how alumni have been changed from different communities, that's a great example of putting the story at the center of that content or of that program. However, you can, and I recommend that you do, embed storytelling into everything you do in your work. So here is a fantastic example. This actually comes from the Salesforce Trailhead community. And this is from the community manager, Kieran Jameson. What you can see here is that this is actually a product roadmap post that she is creating, but the product roadmap doesn't come until down here in the post, like way down at the very bottom. I don't know if you can see my cursor. I don't think you can. It comes near the very end of the post. The whole top of the post is storytelling. She's saying, hey, I'm one of you. I've been part of this community for 10 years. And now I am the product lead for the Trailblazer community. That's my credibility. I'm competent. And then she's saying, hey, here's the journey that got us to this product roadmap. We listened to you. This is what we are doing about what we heard. And then she shares the product roadmap. And then, I mean, this another great example of this is how Mo just shared the product roadmap, yes, and where things are going and changes that are happening on the community. But that was embedded in the story, kind of how things got there, and also embedded in, how a community like CEROS is leveraging and using many of these things that have come out in the last few months. And I think one of the greatest endorsements for this working is you can see the first comment on this post that got best answer is that because of that roadmap, I just bought 10 more shares of the company stock. So I think you can say that's pretty good ROI on one post there. So that's storytelling. Next is dialogue, which is slightly different. So dialogue content and dialogue programs are really about discussing these more hot button issues that normally don't get talked about, or that get talked about in quiet spaces that are not in more public open conversation, but doing it in a safe and facilitated environment, because your community can be that safe and facilitated environment that people don't currently have access to. Now, what these topics are is going to depend heavily on your industry and your niche. So I'm not suggesting that you go out and, if you're in the US, like start talking about who are you voting for in the election. Please don't do that. Ask about things that are specific to your industry. So think about those topics that bring tension or edginess, but that people always want to talk about. So in community circles, one example of this is talking about the difference between community managers and social media managers. It's been a hot button issue for like a decade or more. And this is actually from our community just in this last week that, that this conversation came back up again and we started to talk about it again, but it comes up in different forms all the time. The fifth type of content and program are recognition content and programs. Recognition is critical for ongoing community engagement. So if you've launched a community and then things are kind of petering out, then what that's telling me when I look at those kinds of metrics in a community is that you're not acknowledging some of the contributions that are happening. And so it's not creating people coming back because they feel like they're spending their time in a space that's worth their time and where they're seen and appreciated. Not always, but often. And so recognition is really just about celebrating those who are contributing to the community and the major milestones that they are hitting and that the community as a whole is hitting. So this can be something really, really formal. For example, this is the Cosmetic Executive Women community. They do every year formal awards called the Achiever Awards, but it doesn't have to be this formal. They host like a gala dinner and it's in person. During COVID, it was online, but you absolutely don't have to do a formal program unless that's something that makes a lot of sense for your community. Small ways of recognizing people also really, really matter. So just sending somebody a quick DM saying, hey, I noticed you responded to this post and I really appreciated you taking the time to answer it. Because what I see in many communities is that very active members, if they are not recognized, will start to wonder and ask themselves, is what I'm doing, am I contributing too much? Am I like overstaying my welcome here? And so if they're not hearing that affirmation from you, they might actually back away and you can lose some of your most engaged members just by not saying, hey, I see you and I appreciate you. Such a small action that has an outsized benefit to it. Next, we have friendship cultivation content programs. And this is really about bonding members closely to one another. So when CEROS shared their off-topic chat area, like that's exactly what this is all about. And I've done research on a number of communities across platforms, and off-topic chat areas and more general chat areas are almost always the most active areas of communities because it's just a space for people to get to know each other more as whole human beings outside of the very specific context of your community. So you can do this by having a special section of your community. You can do it by having a happy hour gathering or something that is more, has very little agenda and is more open. But you can also do it through having just simply introducing some silly posts in your community, like show me the last photo of your dog on your phone. What you want to be careful is that you don't over-index on this and you don't fill your community with nothing but pictures of dogs, unless it's a dog lovers community, in which case tell me the URL because I will join it. So this is an example here from a sorority. They're called Alpha Phi. They're an international sorority, and they actually have a formal pen pal program that they launched during the pandemic because girls couldn't see each other in person. And this is something we could do in our communities, maybe not this exact little cutesy kind of approach, but certainly connecting people just for the sake of connecting them and talking about anything and everything. It can all be open. So having some space for this is crucial. And finally, but not least importantly, we have welcoming programs and content. So welcoming is not just about saying, hey, welcome to the group. No, it's actually about blending your old members. I should not actually old, but those who've been around for a little while, blending them with your new members to ensure that those new members feel supported and that those older groups in the community continue to feel relevant, like it's still a space for them. So that's what welcoming is actually about. It's not just about the newcomers. It's about the entire community. This often gets lost in communities, especially when we start to automate this process of welcoming. So what you'll see in a lot of communities is like this, for example, welcome thread version 230, where it's like, this is the 230th time that we've run this exact same thread with the exact same questions on it. And it starts to feel a little bit stale after a while. And you'll notice that people responding to these threads goes down over time. So that's a sign that it's time to refresh how you think about welcoming. Maybe introduce welcome calls. Maybe introduce new member buddy programs. Do something that does more to blend those old and new groups together. Okay, so these are the 7 types. And what I want you to consider is, of these 7 types, again, are you missing one or more of these types of content and programs in your community? Is this something that you need to address in your community? Because if there are gaps in this, then you'll notice that there are opportunities for engagement that are not currently happening. I'm happy to answer questions about any and all of these areas. We'll do a Q&A at the very end of this discussion, but I'll keep going for right now unless anything has come up in the chat. And Francisco, feel free to pause me at any point if you want me to address any questions.
I'll do, no problem.
Yeah.
For now, we're good. Keep going.
Amazing. All right. So within these 7 types of content and programs, I want you to think about 2 different cadences to create. So what I mean by that is either ad hoc content and programs. So either you're doing them one-off, like a one-time thread or a one-time post or a limited time series. So you need some of that, but you also need ritual content and programs. And if I can give you any advice about this, it's to default more toward the ritual content and programs if you're just getting started or you're refreshing your community. Because again, this is about setting expectations for what this community is for and what kinds of things people can come to expect. So ritual content and programs does not mean we put things on autopilot and we never change them. It just means that we're trying something out, and maybe that ritual evolves and changes over time, just like rituals evolve and change over the course of human history. But these are the things that people are going to come to expect inside of the space. These are the 2 types, are ritual and ad hoc. Make sure that you have a mix of both of those types. Okay, so I have just dropped a lot of information. What you need to take from this is take these 7 types and start to brainstorm for your community what is going to make the most sense for you. So you've probably left with, after hearing from the CEROS community and about these product updates, lots of new ideas, but how do you start to organize them and how do you start to prioritize them? So that's the next step from here, is to take these ideas and begin to structure some brainstorming around them. So how I recommend doing this is starting with your purpose. So what you see here in this image, this is 2 different boxes here. One is the purpose of this community is building skills. So the question that we're trying to answer with our community is, how might we help people build, share, trade, practice their skills in the community? And in this case, the purpose is connecting. So how might we encourage people to talk one-on-one, form bonds, and grow together? And when we start to brainstorm, and what I recommend you do is that you do not brainstorm alone. Either brainstorm with your team or get together with other community builders and brainstorm together with them, and bring your ideas into one space and start to think about, okay, if this is our aim, then what kind of education content or educational programs do we need? What kind of dialogue should we be having? What kind of relationship knitting or friendship cultivation do we need? And then start to brainstorm in these broad categories and organize them that way. That's how I recommend moving forward on this. Then once you have all these ideas, you cannot run with all of them. So this is, however, 30, 40 ideas, you can't run all 40 of them, especially if you're a team of 1. So you have to prioritize. You've got to get clear on what to roll with first, what maybe doesn't get launched because it's what we call in writing, we say, kill your darlings. It might be like a fun little idea that doesn't actually make strategic sense. So how do we start to prioritize? Well, what I'm going to share with you is one kind of content evaluation structure that you can use in myriad ways. So you can take this structure and then customize it to what makes sense for you. But what this is going to do is give you a tool that you can then use to justify to yourself and potentially, more importantly, to the rest of your team, why you are creating the content and programs that you are creating. So this tool is called a decision matrix. You might have heard of this terminology before. It's simply a decision-making tool that's going to help you evaluate and prioritize from a list of options. So there's many ways you can create a decision matrix. And what I'm going to share with you is one way that I recommend approaching it. So when we're evaluating our ideas, what I recommend for a community, the things that you think about for evaluating your ideas, the criteria are taking each idea and considering what are its potential reach, how many people will it reach, what is your confidence that this idea is going to work, what is the ease with which you can execute this idea, and then what is the scalability of it? Is this something that you can only run once and it's going to take all of your time for several months, or is it something that you could set in motion and then it becomes a scalable program? So those are the first set of criteria to evaluate your content and programs on. The next is, what is your purpose? And this is something that we call your community compass. It's a combination of your purpose and your values. It's something we teach inside of the CMJ community. You need to break that purpose down and evaluate based on what have we promised that we're going to be offering people here, and do the content and programming ideas that I just created, do they actually align with those promises? And then finally, and again, not least importantly, is what are your organizational goals? What is your organization expecting you to deliver? So that needs to be a piece of what you consider when you are evaluating your content and program strategy. Because if you're just doing things, again, for the sake of doing them, then your organization eventually will look at you and ask, okay, what is this actually doing for the organization as a whole? And that doesn't have to be revenue focused. It can be focused on other outcomes as well. So then you're going to bring those, that big brainstorming tool that I just shared with you. You're going to take all those ideas, you're going to group them by similarities, categorize them by the type of content or program, by those 7 different types, and then move them into a matrix. So this is what this is going to end up looking like. And it's going to look a little wild and crazy spreadsheety for just a second. And spreadsheety is a word, by the way. No, it's not. So what you're going to do is take all those ideas and place them into the sheet and organize them here by type, and then describe them. And then what you can see here on in each of these sets of columns are the different criteria that I spoke about before. So the reach, ease, confidence, scalability, your purpose. This is going to be custom to you. These are 3 aspects of a community purpose for one of our clients. And then what are the organization's needs and what impact is this having on our organization as a whole? So you're going to go through this for yourself and start to you're going to set a ranking scale. So here what you see is a rating scale of 1 to 3 on each of these. And then you are going to rate each idea. And what I recommend is just go with your first instinct on all of these things. It doesn't have to be super, super rigorous, because what this is doing is it's a tool to provide, or a tool to inspire further discussion about each of these ideas. So go with your first instinct on what you think the rating of each one of these ideas is. Then review the scores of all those ideas. And most importantly, discuss that ranking with your team or with other community builders who you can bounce ideas off of to move forward. So what that's going to look like in the end is it's going to, in this case, there's a little bit of a complicated algorithm here of multiplying some of them and adding other ones. You can create whatever you want. You can just add all these numbers up if you want. But what it will create is a score in the end that adds up all these numbers, or adds up the kind of each one of the scales is what I would call them. So what you'll see at that point is then which ideas are floating to the top. So in this case, this idea here, the mentoring groups, has a 37 score. So we would then look at that and say, wow, that's the top idea in terms of the evaluation criteria that we've set out. So let's look at why that is. And you might see, okay, it's going to be easy. We're really confident we can do it. It's very scalable. It has a pretty good impact on all aspects of our purpose. But then we look at the organizational goals or the organizational needs that we need to address, and it's only addressing advocacy right now. So is that worth it to only focus on that one area of the community and its outcomes? Maybe, but then we're having that conversation. All right. So then maybe we say, okay, well, if it's only having an impact on advocacy, maybe we need to look at the next idea down. So the next one is at 34, it's book clubs. This one has an impact on service, support, and success, and advocacy. So maybe that's the idea we want to run with. So again, this is about a tool that's going to give you additional rigor in how you prioritize, and then a discussion tool for you to explore further which ideas you actually want to execute. So what you're going to discuss is what's surprising to you, which ideas floated to the top, or which ones sunk down to the bottom that you're surprised by. Which of the items that you listed is necessary for the rest of the strategy? So sometimes people will put in here, they'll come up with ideas and say like, We need community guidelines, and that's a piece of content and programming. And yes, in a sense it is, but it's necessary for the rest of the strategy. So that should definitely come to the top. And then you can determine prioritization accordingly. And again, what's important here is that you can then justify this not only to yourself, but also to your broader team. Here's why we're doing what we're doing. So once you have done all of this work, you're able to justify it, it's important then to move into a more experimental and nimble stage with your work. So stay really nimble, be learning all the time with what you're doing. So what I just shared with you, that brainstorming sheet, the decision matrix, is a starting point, and you're going to get more rigorous about your work as you learn what works. So what we recommend people move into eventually is moving from that decision matrix into a more formalized content and program swipe file, where you have, these are the different types of content, and these are just a list of ideas and things that you can either use for yourself, you can use to train other team members, you can use to give to content creators who might be running aspects of your community. And then you're able to have this one kind of inspiration station that you can go to if you're feeling stuck at any given time. So you can start to formalize this and see what's actually working. I want to name something that when you start to experiment with new content and programs, it can be really tough on your ego. And what I mean by that is that things that you thought were going to work might not work. And things might feel very personal as you start to launch new programs. It might feel like, oh, I didn't do that right, or it's me, that's why people aren't showing up, or I'm not working hard enough, or I didn't do something. I want you to let all of that go. And I have some tools for you to move forward with. So a couple things to keep in mind and to remember every single day when you show up for this work. Whatever happens, be it positive or negative, it signifies absolutely nothing about your worth, your capabilities, or your value as a human being. It doesn't. It doesn't. It does not. Okay. I just want you to know you are valuable and worthwhile and capable as a human being every single day of your life, regardless of what happens with your content and your programs. That will never, ever, 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 ever change. Okay. Tied to that, as you're doing this work, anything that you try is never, ever, ever a failure. It's always a lesson. And this concept comes from one of my greatest inspirations in my work, Adrienne Marie Brown, the author of Emergent Strategy and a bunch of other books now, who says never a failure, always a lesson. And I repeat that to myself multiple times a week, because as long as we are trying things, as long as we are experimenting, we are learning. And that is really, really powerful. If we're just sitting and waiting, that's when things become precarious. I also want you to remember that you get to choose where and how you spend your time. If something that you're running in your community is depleting you, a certain type of program that you're running, you do not have to do it. You don't have to do it. Either you can find someone to delegate it to, maybe a community manager or a community member wants to run it for you, just like I think it was Jesse or Leanne. I'm blanking on the name of the CEROS community member who stepped up and is really running that off-topic chat area in that community. You don't have to do it. There's a creative way around it. Or maybe you just don't do it in your community at all. Because how you feel when you show up for your community work, it impacts everything else that happens in your community. And through everything, I want you to remember that community building is one step, one conversation, and one relationship at a time. Communities are built on human timescales, not at the speed of AI, unfortunately, as frustrating as that might be. And this work takes time. It actually takes, if any of you are pre-launch or in the early days of your community, I want you to keep in mind that it takes about 18 months for communities to really hit their stride and feel like this organic sense of vibrancy that you might be seeing in other people's communities. It takes time. So every day you show up, every conversation you have, it matters. It deeply, deeply, deeply matters. So what you're going to do from this point forward, what's next? You're going to test out the ideas that you've come up with, that you've brainstormed, especially if any of these ideas are brand new to you and they were missing in your strategy before. I want you to address those first. And this is not optional. What you're going to do is you're going to follow up with people to encourage their engagement. So it's not enough to simply put out a post and then if no one responds to it, you say that was a failure. No, it wasn't. It's not over until it's over, which means that if a post is not doing well, you're going to say, okay, well, who do I know in the community that I want to contribute to this post? Okay, I'm going to send them an email and I'm going to ask them to respond to this. I'm going to send them the link. And you know what happens when you do that? people actually respond. Okay. Not 100%, but even if you only get one person to respond, again, it's one step, one conversation, one relationship at a time. So you have to follow up with people, do that back end work that nobody ever sees, but that you know is why your community is able to be successful and to scale over time. And then as you do this, have a light hand in all of it. Let go of what doesn't serve you or your community. If you're finding that a program that you're running is not resonating with people, people aren't showing up for it, and you've tried it several times, let it go. And remember, it is not about you, your value, your worth, and your competency. Okay. So I want to thank all of you for being here. I will stick around for Q&A after this, so I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I would love to stay in touch with all of you. I have a newsletter. Kelly Shetron, our director of strategy, and I share conversations. We just shared a conversation about scaling cozy communities. So we do that about once a month, and we send that out in our newsletter. As well as our CMJ community is currently open on a 7-day free trial. We're going to be turning that off pretty soon. So if you want to check it out, I recommend that you do that pretty soon. At either one of these links, you can stay in touch both or one of these ways. So I look forward to getting to know more of you, to answering all of your questions, and truly all of my respect and admiration for everybody that shows up and does this work. We know it's not easy, but it is so needed and so worthwhile. So thank you so much.
Whoa. Thank you, Carrie. That was so great. Honestly, it was really thorough, like every step, well explained, every detail.
good.
I love it. So thank you so much. Yes. The first question always is, can we get the slides? That's the first question. Can we get the slides? So you can say that. And then also I wanted to just highlight Thea because she was showing love for you. Hey, Carrie, I just have so much admiration for you. Oh, I was almost
Hey, Thea.
yeah, Thea is so kind. We met with Thea in person last month in London. She came for the Community-Led World
In
Summit.
Copenhagen. Yeah.
Yes. So, oh, well, she's so kind. Yeah, so kind.
Yes. And talented.
But even though you did like a great job, we got one fairly deep question. So,
Okay. I love it.
Okay. So, and actually, it's from Thea. So I'm going to take this one off, and then I got one here. Maybe we need to break it down, I think, because it's long. So I'm going to read, and then we can probably do the answer. So from Thea, any tips on how content programming should differ for mature communities with existing engagement versus new communities needing foundational engagement? I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, great question.
Yes.
Yeah, this is something I think about a lot because we have a variety of clients who come in and don't have a client or don't have a community yet. And then we also have clients who are like, our community is not working, please fix it. And so the approach is slightly different. I think you have advantages to each approach. So for a new community, you're really starting out with less information and less data to help you make these decisions. So really, when I'm like that decision matrix structure, that's really going to be based on your gut. Like truly. If you have an existing community, then you're making fewer unchecked assumptions when you're going through that decision matrix. So you can say, well, we know that this programming works. We know that people show up when we run these kinds of events. And so you actually have more certainty in what's working. So we're actually in the midst right now of doing a whole audit on our own community structure. So the approach that you'll take if you have a mature community is you'll first want to audit what you already are doing. So look at what are the programs that we already run and take those 7 areas and say, okay, which one of these areas do they fit into and where are their gaps? And see for each of those programs, how is it fueling our success? Is it fueling our success? Is it inspiring engagement? And more importantly, is it connected to our purpose? And is it helping organizational outcomes? Will somebody else in the organization care that we're running this program? And so, yeah, you'll take that audit approach. And then what you'll do from there is refine versus this more experimental kind of approach to things. So I hope that that's a helpful answer. I think also one other thing to mention about this is that if you have a mature community, you can typically go through and segment things more versus a new community. You should keep things very, very simple, very, very open. The fewer spaces for conversation, the better, so that you're directing more activity into the spaces that do exist. And then as you mature, you need to start segmenting and breaking things down into different areas in the community.
Yeah, I think that this idea of when you were explaining all these 7 kind of areas, I was imagining just like buckets on the
Yeah.
sand on the beach that I
Yeah.
need just to put some bit of sand on each.
Yes.
If maybe one is empty, oh, heads up, let's see
Yeah.
what we are missing out. I was like, because I have kids, I was just imagining them playing with the buckets on the beach, and so yeah, to make it easier theory. Yes, we got
Yes.
also one question from Piper.
Oh, yeah.
Piper is always supporting us. She says, I'm going to switch that. There you go. Can you say something you always do to match organizational goals to a brainstorm? Part 2.
Oh, in terms of, well, yes, I can. There are 7 different organizational goals that communities can drive. And I'm not going to go through all 7 of them right now. But if you want to learn more about them, I have written a book. They are in here. And Piper, I think you have this. And if you don't, DM me. Okay. But yeah, they're in there. And so they break down into one. If it's a new community, another thing to note here is that you should be really focused on one organizational outcome, not 3. 1. Because you need to be able to show that it's having an impact in one key area first, and then you can diversify your efforts. But you've got to start out focused. Unless you have some miracle team of 10 community builders and you're like working cross-functionally and all that. And I do work with teams like that, but it's pretty rare. Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you, Piper, for your question. I think it's been covered. Carrie, if you can join me, I want to just share with the audience also something special that we did as partner in partnership with Bettermode. No, as you know, I am founder of Led by Community. It's a community of practice for community leaders on this side, UK, Europe. We have Piper as one of our members as well. Thea is also one of them. And what we have set is a special series named Talks and Pros. Bettermode is a part of one of the sponsors for this. And next week we have the first event of this series with Jenny Weigelbond. I'm trying to say it correctly. So she's next Wednesday with us. And then also we have already scheduled the next one with Ed Giansante. He's the head of community at Persona. After that, we have one with Ana Maria Dorgo. She's a kind of community learning experience builder. She's amazing, really funny. Yeah. And then also Margot Miller. She's head of community at TopTal. Well, also like a kind of well-known MC. She was the host for the Community Labor Summit. She was also helping at the CMX, I remember. So she has been everywhere. She has lots of experience. And she's also part of the series for December. So we are running one of these per month.
Amazing.
And you are all invited. I have shared the link also there. But yeah, all of these are going to be part of the Led by Community Talk and Pros event series. After that, I can take it off. And Carrie, we are on time. I just wanted to say how much we appreciate the efforts you did today. I think that everyone loves what we learned, this recipe. And of course, we are going to keep this as a replay. We are going to send it out to everyone. And then I need to convince the slides thing, but no worries. I'm going to do some magic to share with all of you as well. Okay. So that's it from me. I think that I have something to say. Just thank you. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time today. Thank you, Carrie. See you soon.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.